to our Clippers 2022-23 season preview special. I'm Derrin alongside David Pingalore. Corey Maggette is here. We are so excited to bring you Clippers basketball this season. Even more so to be joined in studio by a very special guest. Former Clipper great Corey Maggette is here. Thank you for joining us today. We want to get all the insights. The NBA is back. One reason why you're excited about this Clippers season.
Healthy. Everyone is healthy. First of all, thank you guys for having me here. This is amazing to talk Clippers basketball and back again, KTLA. I mean, it's amazing. You think about some players that we're so happy to have back. PG, he's healthy. Kawhi, the Claw, is back. New addition, John Wall on his team. It's amazing.
And Derrin, he has come fully prepared.
Got my notes. Got my black book. I keep it.
And he was playing games on KTLA 5 when they were on KTLA,
yes,
back in the day. So the exclusive broadcast home. So we're back here with us.
It comes full circle,
yes.
Right? Well, we are on the precipice of a season that Clipper fans have spent a lifetime dreaming about. The roster is loaded not only with star power, but fortified with a supporting cast that has youth and experience. But of course, the biggest headline, all the surgeries are done. The wounds are mended. They are finally healthy, as Corey mentioned, and this combination of circumstances has created championship expectations.
It was very promising, I think when you get Kawhi and PG back healthy, Norm, we had to play a full season instead of playing, 5, 6 games, 4, whatever, how many ever again, 4 games. This team can be pretty special.
There has been optimism in the past. Through the decades, the Clippers have often been renowned for their talent, but this season feels different.
A week and a half after we, got finished playing, guys were in the gym, working on their body, working on their game. I thought it was a little too long, a little too early to get started, but that just showed their dedication.
I feel like over the years, with us first being here, you see the gradual improvement of the team, so hopefully we can take another step.
The roster has been fully renovated, fortified not only with talent, but experience. 2022-23 marks the culmination of patience and planning, a confluence of surgeries and the requisite healing, along with shrewd trades and signings. While two-time NBA champion Kawhi Leonard was missing 15 months and Paul George only playing in 31 games, Lawrence Frank didn't waste time sulking, adding more firepower in Norman Powell and experience with the versatile Robert Covington. And he addressed the team's only perceived weakness, adding true point guard, 5-time All-Star John Wall.
Like on paper, we look great. We got a lot of depth, but what do we do? Can we build team chemistry? Can we build camaraderie? And I think one of the pieces that they was missing is like having a real true point guard to run the floor, run the team.
Adding John, his pace is tremendous, and that's going to allow us to get easy baskets. Guys get open threes, easy shots, him getting downhill, getting to the basket, changes our team dramatically.
Just as important as their talent and versatility is a phrase that just may be the biggest factor in determining their destiny: load management. For Ty Lue, it's a top priority, limiting minutes, lighter practices, complete with days off. It's Lue's responsibility to meticulously protect the health of his superstars with the goal of getting them to the playoffs healthy.
Our depth is so good. Our team is so deep. In a way, we should have the Team USA approach, where you go hard for those minutes that you get. We can do that. That gives T. Lue the ability to keep us fresh, keep the rotation going.
Without the play-in tournament, we would have made the playoffs. So I could come in and help with that and help us win more games. And, PG's healthy. We got John. So we got to see how it all unfolds.
Enabling Lue to provide this all-important rest is the depth of the most versatile roster in the league. It has the youth of Terrence Mann, Brandon Boston, and the experience of Marcus Morris, Reggie Jackson. Norman Powell brings championship pedigree, having won a title with Kawhi in Toronto. You want shooting? Luke Kennard shot at 45% from 3 last year. They can go big with Ivica Zubac or play small ball with Robert Covington at the 5. Whatever challenge presented, they are fully equipped to counter.
without Kawhi, PG only played 20-something games, I believe. We still were top 8 seed in the West. So, that just speaks to what we have on the bench right now.
So guys got to sacrifice minutes, got to sacrifice games, sacrifice touches, shots. And so if we want to be successful, we want to win, those are the things we have to do.
All right, we've been talking about this health and the load management. Corey, how do you accomplish that in this day and age?
You know what, Derrin, I've really been trying to think about how the Clippers will do this season. And when you talk about load management, it's about how can I keep my star players healthy, including my very versatile role players. And this year, you think about Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Combined, they missed 133 games. Kawhi with the ACL and PG with the elbow. And so you want to make sure that you can keep these two guys healthy. How does it work? You maybe have to look at what happened a few years ago with the Toronto Raptors and what they did for Kawhi Leonard. What they did was he only played 60 games. Those 60 games, what does it translate into? Championship and MVP for Kawhi Leonard. So for me, I want to make sure that I can keep those guys healthy. They have an entire roster of people from a health and wellness standpoint that can take care of it. You look at it, we have a list of this. I gave it to Ping here. You got John Myers, who's the head there, and Jason Powell from Director of Medical Services. You have Maggie Bryant. They have a lot of people that can make sure that these players are healthy for the long term, because at the end of the day, you can play the first 30 or 40 games, but if you're out for the next 30 games, what happens? You lose camaraderie and you lose the chemistry that you've built that entire way.
And having a staff like this to keep guys healthy and their nutrition is obviously very important to this process of building a championship.
No, of course. You want to have the right people from a dietitian standpoint, making sure that they're eating the right foods, getting the right energy. And what happens is when you have a long season, and I'm going from experience here, you're traveling. If you have back-to-backs, you might have 4 or 5 games in 5 nights. You might be flying from the East Coast to the West Coast and West Coast back to the Pacific area. You want to make sure that you're healthy. And with this Clippers team, they have the depth to be able to rest those players as much as possible.
What about the chemistry of this team? They've got so much depth. How do you mix it together? You add John Wall in. Egos, I know that there was a point of emphasis during the preseason that we're going to throw egos out. How do you manage that, Ping?
Well, I think that Ty Lue during the preseason has done an unbelievable job of that, because a lot of these guys could be starters on other teams, Corey, right? So, so T. Lue there has actually been doing a phenomenal job of bringing John Wall in the preseason game. He started him. He started Reggie Jackson in one of the preseason games. So he's got to find these egos to kind of like, hey, guys, we want to win a title. Got to be on the same page.
You know what? I think it really starts with Kawhi and PG. I would say they are the most selfless superstars that you have. And when you have players with the caliber of their games and the way they approach the game about business-like, we're going to come in there and work as hard as we can. They're going to be unselfish. And the reason you have unselfish players, it allows everyone else to be unselfish.
Corey, do you see John Wall starting, coming off the bench?
You know what? I've been really thinking about that, Derrin. I'm not quite sure. You know, if you want to push the pace, faster pace, you can go with John Wall. But on the other hand, the development of what Reggie has built with Kawhi and PG and his shooting ability, it gives them another versatile player as well. So I'm not quite sure what will happen. But Ty Lue, he has the hardest job. And, you know, with his staff, you got their associate head coach and Dan Craig, all of their assistants. They're going to figure out what lineup works best. And I told you before the show, Ping, is that this team, they can have literally about 6 different starting lineups. And that was the point of getting these players that can help out.
Let's get into the nuts and bolts of the Western Conference. Obviously, defending champion Warriors. Who are the other challengers out there that you think the Clippers need to have a lookout on?
You know what? I would say the Memphis Grizzlies, when you think about what Ja Morant has done there, the players from the caliber standpoint, he's probably the most exciting player in the NBA right now. If I go back to my black book, the notes he's got here. My notes, I got to go to my notes.
These are the odds that win the West.
These are some of the odds, but the Mavericks, the Phoenix Suns, who had a disappointing playoffs, the way that the Mavs beat them, Clippers, of course, Nuggets, you have Jamal Murray that's coming back. Lakers, you will see if they can stay healthy. That's been, you know, their Achilles heel the last few years, as well as the Clippers. And then Minnesota. You know, they've done a great job this season, this past season with their young talent. in Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards. They added Rudy Gobert, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, so that's going to be great from them from an interior standpoint. But it's going to be really rough in the West, and the team at the end, I always say it's the best stability is availability. So what players will be available? If you have a healthy team that can last the entire season going into the postseason, you have a great chance to win it.
I don't know if we've seen a team as deep as the Clippers.
When I've watched them in the preseason, it's like they just keep coming off the bench. Like it's, like Norman Powell that one game. He had 34 points in the first 25 minutes he played. Didn't even get into the second half barely. So, yeah, they just keep, Luke Kennard, just keep coming on in.
Haven't even talked about some of the young players that are exciting, and Terrence Mann and Coffey's coming off the bench. So we got so much to get to. Still plenty more on this Clippers preseason preview special. Coming up next, David Pingalore goes one-on-one with Paul George. Gauge his mindset heading into his 4th season with the Clippers. We'll be right back in just a moment.
This thing here, I drew this up.
Okay.
When you look at something like that, I played high school basketball. You probably don't remember Travis Best. Okay, you
Yeah.
okay?
Indiana.
Okay. I played high school basketball against him. He's an old guy like me. When you see that, what do you take anything from that? Is that nothing right about that?
X's and O's. Okay. I do see the X's and O's. Don't know who the DC is.
I don't know if it's supposed to be. I don't know what that's supposed to be, actually.
Okay, is that an arrow?
Yeah, it's supposed to be an arrow.
Okay.
Correct, that's an arrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then the arrow is pointing to the sea. There's some motion. Okay, there's
Yeah,
some motion. I'm thinking a ball is being swung.
Yeah.
Okay, usually X's is defense, O's is offense. So this might be a transition drill, 3-on-2.
3-on-2. It's like a power play in basketball.
Yeah, it's a power play in basketball right there.
Which we can't have. All right, I'm not coaching Paul. Don't worry about it. All right, Paul George, no future for me drawing up plays for you. But his involvement being fully healthy after tearing the UCL in his right elbow last season is going to be great. Him back because he only played 31 games last year. Yet when I recently did sit down with him, PG-13 was very confident his health issues are behind him and the Clippers will finally live up to their potential this year.
George with 7 to shoot for the Clippers, drives in on Bullock. He goes to the house. Oh, my! Hello, nasty!
Well, Paul, this is it. Start of a new campaign. Kawhi's going to be back healthy. Got to be exciting. I mean, like just from a health situation and how deep this roster is.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Kawhi being healthy is the most important thing about this season going. I think when you look at how deep in our depth, we're really versatile, and I think that's going to be our biggest flex this season is T. Lue's ability to kind of throw any lineup out there and be successful.
And with T. Lue, running the show, like a guy that's played in the league, knows the league, has been around championships. To be able to manage a roster, it's got to be difficult, but a guy that obviously can do it.
Yeah, I mean, he's the man for the job. He's cut for this. He's a champion as a coach, as a player. He knows what it takes, and I mean, it's just who T. Lue is. He's an amazing communicator. He can, address and talk to, and literally everybody on the team he has a relationship with. So we trust him at the helm, being the leader. He makes our jobs easy, knowing that he has the confidence in us and we can go out there and deliver.
Steve Ballmer, home games, guy gets everybody fired up, every play he's watching. Does that energize you guys seeing the guy that owns the franchise is there night in and night out as a fan?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's awesome that we have an owner and a super fan all in one. You don't get that in any other organizations around the league or sports for that matter. He's just so passionate. We feed off of him. We want to win one for Steve.
The expectations for this team have been high for the last several years. This year in particular, it's really high. How much do you like having kind of like that target on your guys' back?
It's fun. It's fun. I think we don't have the biggest target. I think Warriors have that, and rightfully so, being the defending champs. But it's good to have some pressure, and you want to be one of those teams that have pressure going into a season. You know, you don't want to be one of those teams that they don't know how that year is going to go for them. For us, we're pretty confident of where our season can be if we, again, remain healthy. And, you know, we just play how we've been playing, you know, since I've been here. We've been very successful. So that's it. I think the key for this year is just being healthy.
Well, Ping, it comes through in the interview. You can sense the humility. Ty Lue, he's got these leaders who don't bring their ego to the table. Why do you think Ty Lue is the right guy to figure out the chemistry of this team?
Well, Corey can speak to that more than me, but I think because he's played before, he knows the game. I think, and he's a younger coach, so he's kind of more into that type of generation. You know, he's a young guy with guys in their 30s, but obviously he has younger guys. But I think being kind of closer in age with guys, that says a little bit to that.
You know what I was saying, PG said it, is he's a great communicator. And the only way you can be a great communicator is by having great people behind you. You think about Doc Rivers, who mentored Ty Lue through his career. Jerry West is another guy that mentored Ty Lue. And even Ty Lue understanding the game and playing the game, like you said, Payne, it gives you a little more credibility with the players. And when I think about even for me playing, I wanted a coach that can communicate and that can talk to me about, hey, you're going to play this night, you're going to play this amount of minutes. And for PG alluding to that Ty Lue has that communication factor and a great relationship with all the players, it makes it easier for him to make those decisions.
You talk about the brain trust. Ty Lue, Lawrence Frank, Steve Ballmer. Give us some insight into the dynamic between those three.
Well, it's some other people that are involved there, and I would say not just if you talk about Lawrence Frank, who's the president of basketball operations, and Steve Ballmer, who's the money man that can do a lot and can provide a lot for this entire organization. But you go to like Michael Winger, who's a guy who's with the Oklahoma City Thunder for such a long time and learned even from Sam Presti from that stint. You go down, you have your other assistant general managers in Mark Hughes and Trent Reddy. This is a combined factor in the guru himself, the logo, Jerry West. You see what he's done. He knows talent. He knows talent a mile away. And Lawrence Frank was able to assemble all of these guys to help him be a better president of this team. And Lawrence Frank, and to be a great owner, to be a great chairman, you have to delegate. And what he did, he delegated the right people for the right job, bringing in Lawrence Frank, and Lawrence Frank going to, from there, from Michael Winger, from a general manager standpoint, have done an amazing job.
How has that impacted the team, Pink? You've spent all training camp.
Yeah, I was in camp, Las Vegas and Seattle, and Steve Ballmer goes to practices just like he goes to basketball games. So it's kind of like it's one big team effort. And, you know, successful people like a Steve Ballmer, from not only, you know, what he's done in his business world, has taken that to the professional sports world, and he's delegated. He's got good people, like you just said, and that is obviously the key to success. Have good people underneath you doing their jobs correctly.
You know, and he's invested into this team. You know, when I first met Steve Ballmer and you saw how excited, I'm like, man, is this actually real? Is he being phony? Is he being fake? You weren't quite sure. But when you get a chance to sit down with Steve Ballmer and know that he's invested to this game, he loves the game so much, and he shows that passion, the players now understand that, like, wow, he's really serious. He's invested in us. So I love the fact that when I see him excited about the game, he loves it. That is a true fan of the game of basketball.
All right, time for us to take our final break on our Clippers season preview special. Still ahead, we'll play some rapid fire and make a few predictions. Back to wrap it up right after this. Welcome back. We could not be more excited to bring you Clippers basketball right here on KTLA. This season, we will be airing 11 regular season games. It all starts October 25th when David Pingalore will be in Oklahoma City for that first one against the Thunder. All right, let's get some rapid fire going here. The Clippers over-under has already been set at 52. That's 52 is the over-under. Ping, let me start with you. You going over or you going under?
That's my lock of the NBA season, over 52.5.
Ooh.
Over.
Strong.
Now, the interesting thing there, Corey, will be there's 15 back-to-back games this year for the Clippers. So how many will Kawhi Leonard be a part of? That could, but they're deep. 52.5. I'm confident with that.
Yeah, I'm rolling with you.
You're going over.
Yeah, because I feel the Clippers won 42 games this year without PG and Kawhi at certain spurts, and you had your key role players that were able to fill that void. So I'm thinking that they could win 57 games this year.
There's no way that Kawhi and PG play in any of the back-to-back.
Yeah, there's 15
maybe
in
one of those back-to-backs. But they're not playing both of them, right?
Derrin, you don't need to play them in those back-to-backs with the roster that they have. I mean, you just said it when we were off the air. They can rest their starters for an entire month and still have key reserve players that can fulfill the task. We've seen it last year, what they've done. So that's the beauty with Ty Lue, where, hey, I can rest these guys. I don't have to put that strain on them with these back-to-back games. You see what happens with that.
All right, when they get to the finish line, Ping, what seed do you think the Clippers are going to have?
Oh, man, you're throwing the seeding we know doesn't really matter in the NBA. It's 2 seed.
2 seed?
Yeah.
I say 3 or 4.
Okay.
3 or 4?
And that's because when you have your superstars sit those back-to-back games, I'm going to say 3 or 4 this year.
Corey, how far do the Clippers go this season?
That's a tough one.
They win it all.
I really believe that this year that they can, you guys, if they're healthy. Kawhi Leonard plays over 60 games. PG plays over 60 games. They can win it.
All right. Pingalore says they're going to win it all. And that is going to do it for our Clippers preview special for David Pingalore and Corey Maggette. I'm Derrin Horton. Thank you for watching. We hope you'll enjoy Clipper basketball throughout the season right here on KTLA 5.